How old are you?
Oh, I'm 19, sorry.
Pro-choice?
Yes,
Why?
because I don't think we begin to exist until the first subjective experience,
What do you mean by exist?
like as people.
As people, so we're not people until subjective experience.
Yeah, until the first subjective experience.
Okay, what's the argument for that?
What's the argument for what? It's how I define what we are. You do this thing
Well,
where you ask what's the argument for something.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not really interested in the meta, bro.
It's not meta. I'm trying to explain something.
It is meta, bro.
I'm trying to
I'm
explain
not interested.
something.
I'm not interested in like how you
Abortion
like, think
is an
I
abductive
debate.
debate. It's about what accounts
not-
for the most intuition. So when you ask me what the argument is for something
I'm
that
asking-
is supposed to account for an intuition,
Yeah,
it's not
so
really
you're defining.
helpful.
So you're defining person to be what? Then.
Yeah, I think a person is a collection of subjective experiences.
Okay, collection of subjective experiences. That's what a person is?
Yes.
Is it the case that, non-human animals can have collective subjective experiences?
Yes.
So if it were the case that a non-human animal had collective subjective experiences, they would be a person?
Correct.
So pigs are people?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably not something I would take. But that's fine. So pigs are people, and so therefore it's wrong to unalive pigs, it's wrong to unalive all of these things, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so
In a vacuum.
So you take in a vacuum.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, I think if, someone's starving, I think it might be acceptable to unalive a pig.
Well, that wouldn't mean that was like a vacuum, right?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, so if it were the case that it's similar to the, the abortion debate where somebody wanted to unalive out of, perhaps not wanting to go vegan, would that be permissible?
No.
No, it wouldn't. Okay, so the vacuum doesn't matter. Okay, so are ants people then?
No.
Do they not have a collective subjective
No.
experience? What's the argument for that? We
What's
see
the argument
cases,
for ants not having a collective subjective experience?
Yeah, so we see in some cases where ants might be sentient, right? There's a lot of sentient debaters that actually say that ants are sentient. So.
No, actually, in order to be sentient, I'm not just talking about sentience. I'm talking about the ability to differentiate your experience from someone else's.
The ability to differentiate your experience from someone else's, and that's what matters?
Yes, that's what I define subjective
why does that
experience as. Because I think.
Why does that matter?
Because I think that's intuitively more valuable than just a normal conscious experience.
Hold on just 1 second. You're going to need to repeat that. I just read a comment that I need to block. Okay, say that again.
Yeah, I just think that's more valuable than a regular conscious experience.
Okay, why?
Well, because it's more intuitive. It's pretty fundamental, I don't know.
So are intuitions truth tracking?
Okay, look, I don't want to do this thing where you just reduce this conversation down to some abstract philosophical thing. I'm telling you what I believe, right?
Well, if you don't want, right, to have the conversation, you can go ahead and hop down, but this is the question that I'm asking. So, are intuitions truth tracking?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, so do intuitions lead us to some sort of truth? Like, it's morally permissible to unalive things, right? When they're not sentient, and you just said that's like on the basis of like intuitions?
Well, no, I'm saying that I think...
Or they're a person on the basis of your intuitions, and so just tell me how your intuitions are the kinds of things that can cash this out and probably be truth tracking.
No, all I'm saying is that I find subjective experience to be valuable intuitively, right?
Okay, and are intuitions truth tracking? Like, do your intuitions cash this view out?
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Are you able to? I'm asking how is it the case that some sort of intuition like this can cash the view out?
What does that mean?
And yeah, so I'm asking how, right, your intuitions for why something is valuable, right? It's the kind of thing that I should believe, right? Or, right, why is that the motivating reason? I need the argument that intuitions can motivate your view.
Well, that's not something I can really provide an argument for. If I were to ask you why do you value sentience, that's not something you could really give me an argument for.
Well, obviously it's the case that it is something that people can cash out, and it is something that people can make an argument for, just you specifically cannot.
Okay, wait,
Because
what's the
you find it to be
argument?
the case.
If you think you can give an argument for why
Yeah,
you value consciousness.
I just said that, hold on. I just said, right, that people cash it out with something other than intuitions, right? So you just can't make the claim, right,
Wait, so I'm
that
curious.
it's the kind of thing that's intuitive.
What's the
right?
argument for consciousness being valuable?
I don't make the argument that consciousness is the kind of thing that grants us value, so I don't know why you're asking me for that.
Just wait, so if
Maybe you should ask yourself for that.
So what does grant value in your view?
That's a pivot.
What? I'm trying to
That's
make
like
a point.
like pivoting to my view.
It's not a pivot because I'm trying to point out
Yeah,
that
so
what you
that's
value
pivoting
is
to
pretty
my
fundamental.
view, bro.
No,
was like a
I'm
crazy
trying
pivot.
to explain something. I'm trying to
Do you know
explain how what we
you've been in
value
these
is
spaces.
fundamental.
You've been in these spaces before, and so I know that you know what a pivot is. So I just need you to tell me the motivating reasons for like an intuition being the kind of thing that grants moral value on the basis of that trait.
Wait, so is all you're asking me is why I value subjective experience?
I'm asking you, right? How is it the case that an intuition can cash out your view and give me motivating reasons?
Yeah, because
I'm asking why intuitions are truth tracking and why I ought to take on the view on the basis of your intuition.
Yeah, I think it's because it's more intuitive. I don't think I can really justify it any further.
Well, then
I think that's pretty
then
fundamental.
You can't change my mind on the basis of your. How is it
Well,
fundamental?
I think
What's
I
the argument for
can
that?
because, like I said in the
How is
start
it
of this
fundamental?
discussion, like I said in the start
How
of
is
this,
it fundamental?
am I going to be allowed
How
to
is it
say
fundamental?
anything?
You're going to be allowed to answer my questions. So.
Wait, I've been answering your questions for like the past 15 minutes.
Yeah,
Can I make a statement?
for the second time you've been in these spaces before, you know what investigating a view is.
Yes,
So I
and
need
there's
you to tell
nothing
me, right? Perfect.
more
So I need
unique
you to
you're
tell
asking
me.
me.
Yeah.
You just keep
because you can't
repeating the
answer it.
same question.
Yeah, because you're not answering it.
I
Perfect.
answered
So-
it. It's because it's intuitive.
No, you just said it's because intuitions are motivating reasons because it's intuitive, which is just circular.
Yes, I
So,
I
I just
understand
need
it's
you to-
circular. At a certain
Yeah, so
point, my view is going to be
made the claim
circular.
that it's you just made the claim that it's fundamental. So what's the argument for that?
You realize asking me to give you an argument for something that I believe to be
Is how the debate
fundamental
works.
is just is it's a contradiction. What I mean by
How is it a
fundamental,
contradiction?
because what I mean by fundamental is that it's something that I can't justify.
So you're saying that it's like true within itself? It's like an axiom?
Yeah, sort of. It's true out of necessity.
Okay, so what do you mean true out of necessity?
Like you can't have a debate about abortion if you don't prescribe value to sentience, right? Or subjective experience, sorry.
Okay, what? Yeah, so I just need the argument that like kind of claim that it's fundamental is axiomatic.
It's not that it's axiomatic, it's that, well, I'm not saying it's axiomatic. I don't actually know what that means. I'm just saying it's fundamental.
It's true within itself. Like you're stating that you have no argument for it because it's just true that it's fundamental. And so I need the argument for that.
Yeah, we all have fundamental beliefs.
Okay, that's not going to be the argument that that's the kind of thing that falls under it being fundamental.
Yeah, I have questions for your view. We're just going to keep saying the same thing because I think it's intuitive.
Well, okay, if you think it's intuitive, you haven't changed my mind because
Well,
you haven't given me an argument.
I think I can change your mind because if I can convince you that my view is more intuitive than yours by giving you a reductio against
Like,
your view,
this is like-
then that would change your mind. That's
this
how
is a-
abortion debates work.
This is a crazy pivot. Like,
This is not a pivot. Abortion debates are abductive, right?
this is a crazy pivot.
It's not a pivot. You're just not understanding the discussion.
Yeah, so it's not understanding the discussion, you telling me that it's intuitive and then being like, well, your view, that's crazy dodge, crazy pivot.
It's not a dodge if I've answered the question like 20 times.
Okay, dodging, yeah, by dodging, you're just like trying to talk about the conversation instead of like having the conversation.
Okay, we've been talking about meta for like 20 minutes. Can I ask you questions about your view now?
Yeah, because you're unable
I've answered the
to answer my
questions.
Okay, answering my question and answering with like something that's not circular is different, right?
Well,
so you're
I
saying
can't
it's
give
intuitive
you a
because it's
non-circular
intuitive,
answer.
and so I need you to tell me.
You're asking me to do
Perfect.
something that's
you-
physically impossible.
How is it physically impossible?
Because I define it as because it has to be circular at a point, right?
Yeah, so it being circular on the second question I posed to your view is probably not something that I should take. And even if it is the case that it's circular on the second question, I just need some sort of motivating reason as to why your intuitions is the kind of thing that could cash out your view. Because
I don't know what you mean by
sure what you
cash
mean
out.
by it's give me motivating reasons for the view. Like,
Yeah,
change my mind with the
because
view. Why should I care about your intuition?
Well, because if I told you, I answered this question already. I don't know if it's worth repeating if it's going to go over your head.
Why should I care about your intuitions? Why should I care that you intuitively think that sentience is the kind of thing we all value?
You should care about You should care about my intuitions because my view is more intuitive than yours.
Are you going to say that to like every single pro-life view? Or
correct?
Like I literally just need...
Yes.
Okay, I just need you to tell me, right? How is it the case that intuitions are truth tracking?
Okay, I'm so sick of this. Can I please ask you questions about your view?
Thank you for pivoting. Now are you going to answer?
It's not a pivot if I've answered all your questions.
This is the fourth time I've asked.
No,
how intuitions
whenever
are
you've asked me questions, I've tried my best to answer them, right? And then I'm telling you, my answer is circular at a point.
Okay, are you able to tell me how intuitions are truth tracking yet, or what?
I don't know what you mean by that.
You don't know what I mean by truth tracking?
No.
Which word do you not understand?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, how is it the case that your intuitions like lead to some sort of like truth here?
Well, I'm not saying
truth that like sentience is a fundamental, right? Like value, the thing that grants value. Like it's like fundamental that it grants value.
Well, because if you disagree with that, then you're just like your view is just ridiculous at that point.
So you're gonna like answer or what?
Well, no, I think I can give you a reductio. Oh wait, I have an answer actually.
Do you like?
Okay, wait, I have an answer.
Okay, you have an answer?
Yes, because if the impossibility of the contrary, I think opposite views would lead in contradictions.
Okay, so you're just like, I think that every other view is false, so mine's better?
Yeah, pretty much. That's like...
And you're unable to cash out your
way
view,
of saying it.
You're unable to cash out your view, though.
No, I'm saying I can give a reductio against all other views.
Every single view on the planet?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you're just trying to pivot to my view?
No, it's not a pivot.
Question. Are you a LARPer? Are you LARPing right now?
No.
Okay, but I think that, you probably run flow, right?
I don't run flow. I think flow is unsound. I've debated flow like 20 times.
Oh, so I see, I'm hearing from the streets that you're a LARPer and that you're LARPing right now.
I'm not LARPing. I don't think flow is sound. So if you run flow, we can actually have a discussion instead of having all this meta.
I don't. Yeah, so the streets are saying that you're going up and talking about
the streets
flow.
are wrong.
You're talking about flow with K and TKA.
I haven't talked to Apollo about
The streets
flow.
are saying that.
Okay, well, the streets are wrong.
Oh, that's him. Yeah, he's like really confused on persistence. Super confused.
Exception reductio. He came up and asked like 20 fucking stupid questions about it.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
are LARPing.
No, I'm not LARPing because I
All
don't.
right, I think the
believe
fetus
flow
is a
is
person, and
unsound.
in virtue of that, the action is wrong. What's the objection?
Well, why do you think the fetus is a person?
Because it satisfies an ontological category.
Okay, I can ask you like 20 questions on what that means, but instead of that, I would rather debate flow.
Ask me. You would rather debate a view that's not mine?
I came here to debate flow.
Wrong, but I'd rather
debate flow. It's like, oh, I'm pro-life. This is my pro-life view.
Didn't he use like a nauseum inference and now is running from like the other views that are challenging it?
Also, just for your information, Samantha doesn't hold a flow either. So did you just want to leave, or what did you want to do?
Wait, so what's your argument for pro-life?
Lit just gave you one. Do you want to debate that one?
No, I don't want to debate him.
Nauseum inference.
Okay, wait. Actually, I would like to amend my answer. I want to debate him after I debate Sam because I just got interrogated by her for like 20 minutes.
Well, listen, Sam runs the exact same view that I run. Okay, so you're gonna debate me now.
No,
okay?
I don't want to debate you. I want to debate Sam because I just spent the
Well,
last
Sam-
20 minutes getting interrogated by her.
That's a great point. Sam just debated your dumbass for 20 minutes. She doesn't want to go
No,
again
she
for another 5
interrogated
minutes.
me, and then we talked about meta for 20 minutes. So
that's
I'd like
what a
to
debate
debate
is.
Sam instead.
Calm down. What you're about to do to me is you're going to interrogate my view. So you're going to do the exact same thing.
Oh my god. Okay, so what's an ontological or whatever you said?
An ontological category, sure, that's just a set in space-time indexed to kinds of entities.
And I'd say it's simpler.
It's a place where things exist.
So the fetus exists, therefore it's a person.
No, but you see how I had to dumb it down to you like a first grader, and now like the argument is fucked because you couldn't understand it?
Well, that's what I asked you to do. So good job.
Yeah, I know. So listen, okay, I'm gonna break this down for the viewers and for you, okay? So you can give an argument using precise language, but if your interlocutor doesn't understand the language because he doesn't understand the standard language used in philosophy and personal identity,
I'm waiting for an
or
answer to the
genetics-
original question,
No,
by the
notice
way.
how I'm talking. Don't talk while I talk, okay? So
You're
when you're
perma
doing
doing
that, and when
Oh wow, someone muted you. That's crazy.
No, I got a phone call. When you start to dumb down the conversation, you start to lose the precision of the terminology, which leaves you open to dipshit responses like the one he just gave.
Okay, this is why I don't want to debate him, because I ask him a question and he goes on a 20-minute meta ramble. Can I debate the person who was interrogating me, please?
Well, hang on. Yeah, someone else debated him because I had to answer this phone call.
Okay.
Yeah, just give the objection to flow that you have. And if it's going to be the contraception.
Thank God, I hated that guy. Okay, so my objection to flow is that the sperm's DNA persists through time, therefore sperm's DNA has flow.
You're just a dumbass. We already answered this question a week ago.
No, the question actually remains unanswered.
Does the sperm's nucleus persist through time? It's literally
Not
what
the
you-
nucleus, the DNA within the nucleus. So you've already proven you don't understand the objection.
No, I already understand that you're just an idiot, and we talked about this a week ago with Kay.
and I still have had no response.
Actually, one of the best pro-choice debaters, and you got literally blown
Pro-choice
out after
debaters,
these
yep.
stupid questions.
Yep, exactly. Kay is one of the best pro-choice debaters. Good job.
No, I said goons. You can't track already.
You said debaters, not goons.
I said Kay and then goons, who's one of the best pro-choice debaters. Whose is indexed to goons, not Kay, you idiot.
Okay, well, that's unclear, actually.
Yeah, I know you get lost in words because everything has to be defined for you as if you're an actual dumb fuck.
Oh, thank God that guy's gone. Okay.
I know, you're
what-
scared of lit, we know.
No, I just don't want to talk about meta. See, I mean...
Yeah, it's not meta, it's just you don't understand what
this
he's
is a
saying.
larger point I want to make, right? Whenever I try to, like, debate a girl, there's always, like, a guy that comes in and then starts filbroing. Right? I haven't seen a girl do anything on this app other than ask me what's the argument. I'm not trying to be misogynistic. That's just like an observation.
Go ahead and just pull Bobo, Honey, Glock, Sam.
I've debated
literally
Glock,
anybody
actually.
here.
Glock sort of conceded to my point, and then she like told Eric to call me, and then Eric filbroed me. So
I highly doubt that Glock conceded to you on that point.
She did.
But look, the idea that the sperm's DNA persists through time, or rather the DNA that it carries persists, is the question, does the sperm have a flow? Is that what you're positing?
No, I'm saying, does the sperm's DNA have a flow?
No.
But it persists through
DNA
time.
doesn't have a flow.
Why?
Because DNA isn't an organism. It's not in the sortal category of what I'm going to value.
Okay, so it has to be an organism to have a flow, is that correct?
In this scenario, yeah. Because it's
Okay,
going to
so
fit
you're
into the
just saying
sortal.
animalism.
Look, just sperm, the reason that sperm, or rather the DNA in and of itself, isn't going to have a flow is because it's not going to be substantial. It's not, in a substantial sense, it's not going to be the same type of sortal entity from being a sperm to being a, in this case, a zygote, blastocyst, embryo, etc.
Sorry, what does that mean?
You don't know what sortals are?
I believe a sortal is like a substance, right?
No.
No.
Holy, now you're going to call it meta when I have to explain to you what sortals are.
No, I'm going to call it meta when you start yapping about explaining things.
But you're going to ask me to explain the thing and then yap about me explaining it, right?
No, I'm going to ask you to explain a thing, and then you're going to yap about me or you explaining a thing, and then I'm going to call it meta, and then we're going to talk about meta.
Great. So sortals, right, is just to describe the essence of something. And there are two ways that you can use the term sortal. It's either going to be in a phase sense or a substance sense.
That's what I said.
So So the reason that what you said is not accurate, especially in this scenario, is because sortals are individuating specific and countable, right? In addition to this, sortals in the substance sense are more closely tied to some identity, and the sperm doesn't have the same identity numerically to the fetus.
Okay,
If the
thank you.
sperm had the same identity, I would grant that it has a flow.
Thank
However,
you.
it does not.
Thank you. That's my objection, is that you have to presuppose a view on personal identity to argue flow. That's what Kay disagrees on. So you just conceded. Thank you. You literally
No,
conceded.
I didn't.
Oh
I
my
didn't
God, you
concede that
conceded. You
have to take
conceded.
a view of
Thank
personal
you.
identity. I
Thank
gave you my view.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're just going to relax. You're just going to hush. Stay down there, buddy. So look,
Thank you so much.
in fact, are presupposing that you need to have an identity theory to run flow. I know at least 5 flow debaters off the top of my head that don't take an identity theory
W concession.
when arguing flow, right? So you can sit down there and ankle bite as much as you want, but you just got put in your place again because
Is that
you
what you
don't
call
understand
conceding?
what flow talks about.
Is that what you call
And
conceding?
your
You just
objection
conceded to
to
the.
flow is so piss poor that you have to run away and make these nervous laughing noises, right?
It's
You
not
haven't
nervous
done anything.
laughter. I actually find it funny. So.
Yeah, so this just isn't an objection to my view, and I don't hold to the traditional flow view. So no.
Okay, so let me explain something.
All just relax. It doesn't prove to be the
I
case.
just wanna
that
talk.
all flow views require an identity claim. That's incorrect. I ran flow for the longest time without an identity claim.
Okay, awesome. So, the point I want to make is that the objection I made is that to run flow, you need to presuppose a view on personal identity. That's the proposition that Kay, Eric, Goons, and all the other guys disagreed with. And that's the proposition you just affirmed. So therefore, you're conceding. You're all confused. You're all confused.
No. Right. You're the only one making any logical sense here, buddy. That's the highest.
Just to be clear, how do you define personal identity high?
I don't want to talk to that guy.
Okay, how do you define personal identity? Yeah, but if you don't want to talk to him, I'll just be the telephone in the middle here, and Lit will tell me everything to ask you, and then I'll ask you. Or you can just be disingenuous and run away.
Okay,
So,
I define
What do you
personal
say-
identity.
What do you mean when you say personal identity?
I basically just mean it's a view on what we are as people.
Okay, cool. That's not personal identity.
That's what I take it to be.
Yeah, so you're using it in a proprietary way that isn't standard in the philosophical
No, it
literature.
is
What you're
standard.
describing there is personhood. Actually, it's
No,
not. So
it's
what
not.
you just described there
Personhood is
is
having the right to life. You're
let me
confused.
finish. Actually, I'm not confused, and this is why I'm going to explain it to you. So personhood typically has to talk about which predicates or which qualities instantiate what a person is or how we define an entity to exist as, okay? Personal identity has to do with how that entity persists through space-time and is a lot closer linked to persistence theory.
Look. Okay, this is why I don't want to talk to this guy. He's just gonna throw out
Yeah,
big words,
because
and then I'm gonna have to ask him like 20 questions.
Because you're wrong.
No, it's because you don't make sense. You're just yapping.
Which word didn't make sense? Was it predicate? Do you know what a
No,
predicate
like
is?
everything you said didn't make sense. I'm
Yeah,
not
which word?
interested. I'm
You
not
said-
interested in this whole
You said
Phil Bro
I
yap
threw in
session.
big words. You said I threw in big words. What was the big word? Was it predicate? Was it quality? Was it instantiate? Which one was it?
It was. I forgot. I stopped listening after the first few big words. I'll be honest.
Okay, well you can go now. Okay, well you can go now. You're a moron.